These rallies are bringing together people from around the country, around the community. Every synagogue is here today. Every synagogue is represented. We put this together with Congregation Beth Shalom and Chabad. Sunday evening, as soon as the Chag was over, we put this together. And we have so many people from the community that are here as well that are showing their support. People who are from all different backgrounds. And one of the people who reached out immediately to express their support and to let us know that the city was here for us as a community and wanted to share support for Israel himself. I want to introduce the mayor of our city, Jason Gibbs. He has to go in and start the city council meeting. So, Mayor Jason Gibbs, and I can tell you from before he was even on the council, he was advocating for Israel and doing what he can. So, Mayor.
Thank you all for being here. And I also want to recognize my fellow council member, Marsh McLean, who is with us here today as well. So I will keep my comments brief. I simply want to share my love and support and prayers with all of you tonight. This has not been an easy few days. It has been, quite frankly, it's been very heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching to watch what is happening. And our purpose for being here with you today is not just because we have a council meeting, but it's to share that we are thinking about you, about your families and your loved ones. We are thinking about this difficult time that we are watching people experience in this world. And our simple hope is for prayer and for peace, for understanding and moving forward as a community. So we want you to know we are happy to have you here. We're proud that you're here. And we support you and we love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. He's a great friend to our community, and over the years we've had a chance to also be supported by people on the city council and also a woman who has served as our mayor. And one of the first messages of support that we got today, especially as we saw that there were going to be some people who with a hateful intent coming out today, that she expressed her solidarity. And I want to introduce previously mayor, because she's been mayor a few times, and current city councilwoman, a great friend, Marcia McLean.
Hi, I just want to tell you, I don't have the words to express the sorrow that I feel for what has happened. I can't wrap my brain around it, how anyone human can do what is being done to babies, to grandmothers, to innocent citizens. I can't wrap my head around it. And while I feel sorrow, I also feel anger that happens in the world today. And so I just want to tell you that I'm with you, and I hope that our government will stand with Israel, not just with words, but to do something about this. We can't let it continue, because it will be here. It's been here. Remember 9/11? That happened to us. This is happening to you now, and it can't stand. So I'm hoping that our government will stand with you and do something to stop it. It needs to stop. So once again, I just want to tell you, I'm so very sorrowful over what has happened, and I hope it will stop soon. Thank you.
So just to make it clear, this is an issue, as Marcia said, for our whole country. And so we have a lot of Americans who are out here from all backgrounds, make it clear, that are standing with Israel today. If you heard the President of the United States today, there are no parties here, there are no political sides here. There's right and wrong, there's good and evil. One of the candidates that's running for Congress in our area is here today, came out on his own without being invited or having, hey, come here and come and speak. I want to introduce George Whitesides, who's here. George, if you come up.
Hello, everyone. My message is clear. The world stands with Israel. The world stands with Israel, and the world shares the pain that you so eloquently stated. What gives us strength is this community of people looking in the eyes of those around you, knowing that this country is with you and that we together can conquer hate, can conquer evil, and can bring the world together through strength, but through love. We are here for each of you and for all that we can do for this community. I thank you, Rabbi, and peace with you. Thank you.
And I also want to introduce someone who was actually davening with us at Shul a couple of weeks ago. It's hard to believe what's happened already at the beginning of this year. But someone else running for office who came here not because he's running for office, but because he's been to Israel many times, and as a Jewish American, this touches him in a way like so many of us that have not been able to sleep, that can't really process what's going on. I want to ask Kip Muller to come up as well. Kip.
Thank you, Rabbi, and thank you everyone for being here. I know there's some people from the Jewish community like I am here who have friends and family in Israel right now. If you can raise your hand if you have friends or family who are in Israel and look around. This is touching us here, right here at home. And I told my friends and family in Israel that I would take photos of this and that they would see it. And they would know that we unquestionably stand right beside them and with them here in Santa Clarita. Because we do. And when they look at those photos, they're not going to see which ones of you are Democrats and who's a Republican and who's an independent. They're going to see us all together as proud Americans here standing beside Israel. And I will share those photos with them, and I will say in advance that they thank you for being here today, and I thank you for being here today. Thank you all.
So what you're hearing now, including the noise that you hear, there's a lot of noise out there right now, metaphorically and actually going on right now. But I want you to know that everybody here today, coming out, standing with Israel, making this something that you took time out of your day to be here, is inspiring. And I want to tell you, if you did not hear the speech of the President of the United States today, go home and listen to it. Go home and listen to what this president said today again, so that you understand what this country stands for. And he said, the brutality of Hamas, this bloodthirstiness, brings to mind the worst rampages of ISIS. This is terrorism, but sadly for the Jewish people, it's not new. This attack brought to the surface painful memories and the scars left by a millennia of anti-Semitism and genocide of the Jewish people. So at this moment, we must be crystal clear. We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. And today the president further added to that by saying, for 75 years, Israel has stood as the ultimate guarantor of the security of the Jewish people around the world, so that the atrocities of the past could never happen again. And we saw the atrocities happen in these last days. Israel live. Now I want to tell you that this isn't just a political issue, it's a moral issue, it's a spiritual issue, and I want to invite up my great friend who helped host us last week and the last few weeks at just down the road at Valencia United Methodist Church. He was also Tevya at Fiddler on the Roof, and he is just an amazing, wonderful friend. Reverend Andy Maddock, if you'd come up too. Reverend?
Thank you, Rabbi. I'm humbled by that. Like Marcia, I don't know that they're the right words to say. I've often believed in the idea that there are some things in life where you can't find the right words to make sentences and sentences to make paragraphs, to somehow talk yourself and convince yourself that things are okay. And this is just such a season in our lives together. But a word I take a lot of hope in is the word compassion, whose history literally means to suffer with. And that sense of never standing alone, never suffering alone, it can be very difficult in the midst of pain, when we feel like our cries are unheard and our hearts are untended to. So as just a small part of a devoted Christian clergy and community here in this valley, we stand with you. Our hopes are with you. Our prayers are with you and with the people of Israel in the midst of this time. Since you mentioned Tevye, I reread Shalom Aleicham's If I Were a Rothschild, which is the chapter that's the basis for If I Were a Rich Man. And when he talks about what he'd do with his wealth, it ends with this idea. He said, if I was rich, I would end all war. Because whether it's territories or religions, what it's really about is money. So if I gave them $1 billion, if I gave them $1 billion, if I gave them $1 billion, we would all stop fighting together. I don't know that that philosophy is fully manifest or fully realized, but it's a beautiful hope from a brother of mine. I long for a day where peace comes alongside our deep struggle together. God be with you, and thank you for today.
Thank you, Andy. I want to ask one of my brothers and the rabbi from Congregation Beth Shalom, Rabbi Jay Siegel.
Thank you all for coming out. It happened again. It happened again that I saw pictures and videos of Jews being slaughtered in fields. It happened again that I saw pictures of Jewish people in rooms piled up, and they couldn't escape. And I saw again a child with his hands up begging not to be hit again by his captors. It happened again. Never again. Never again is no longer a slogan. Never again is a mitzvah, it is a commandment, and each and every one of you here today are observing this commandment. Never again. At the end of every book that we read in our Torah, we say together, Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek. We are strong because we are together. We are strong because we stand here today, not because we're louder than them, but because we are here simply because we are here. Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek. We are stronger together is something I ask you to say this week as we begin reading our Torah again. Because we are a people that don't always look at the ending, but we look at the beginning, where we will start again. We are a people of hope. Hope. That is why our anthem is Hatikva, the hope. The hope that we can live in freedom, without aggression, without violence, without it happening again. Is that too much to ask? The help that we ask for is very simple. That you say yes where you can. Yes to decency. Yes to kindness. Yes to Israel. And yes to the United States of America and her support of our homeland, Eretz Yisrael. Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek, Am Yisrael Chai.
So at this moment where we're bringing together the community, bringing together people of all backgrounds. This was, again, so simple to do because we have a city that cares for us and understands the dimensions of what's going on right now. So I want to ask for our not last but not least, because again, a true great friend who I've had a chance to be with, whose family is also, like many of us, in Israel, in different places, in serving in the military, or again, being called to service right now, Rabbi Choni Mrazov. I want to say one thing about Jay and what happened to Beth Shalom. We're supposed to be in Israel in a couple of weeks. We went to Israel 2 times this year. Every one of us has to go to Israel, has to walk through the land. You're going to make that trip up. You're going to go. And if you go with Beth Shalom or you go with another tour group, you have to go to Israel. You have to understand it. We have so many people, I'm looking around, who were on our trips in February and in June this last year, including, by the way, over a dozen Christians from Santa Clarita who came with us in this last year as well. So thank you to all of you who've been to Israel, who've supported Israel, who've been there and seen it with your own eyes. Rabbi Mrazov.
I think we rabbis can learn from the politicians and the good reverend. Keep it short and sweet. Sorry, no luck tonight. We are gathered here for a few reasons. Number one, to mourn our loved ones, to mourn those who were brutally murdered and massacred in our holy land, in our homeland, Eretz Yisrael, land of Israel. And number two, we're here to ask God to heal those who need healing, those who are injured, and to return those who are taken hostage. And thirdly, we ask God to protect the Tzva Haganah Yisrael, Tzahal, young boys and girls, men and women who are putting their lives on the line right now as we speak and as we gather here, for the sake of protecting Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, and every single one of us, the ability to have a homeland. So I'm going to recite a Misha Berach, a special prayer, asking God to give them success. Misha Berach Aviseinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, hu yivarech es chayalei tzva haganah Yisrael, ha'imdim al mishmar aretzeinu, v'yorei eleinu migavul halavon, vad midbar Mitzrayim min hayom hagadol, ad levoy ho'arava be'abosha vo'aviru v'ayom, yitein adinai eseveinu hakomim aleinu, nigalfim lifneihem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishmer v'yatzil es chayaleinu mikol tzara v'tzuko mikol nego machala v'yishlach bracha v'yatzlacha b'chol maaseh yedeihem yad mersein ein v'tachtem v'yachem v'chesu Yeshua v'teres nitzachain v'yukuyim v'hem ha'kosuv ki adinai Elohechem ha'ilech yimachem le'ilachem lachem yimeiveichem le'yishia eschem v'noimar amen. There's a reason I'm a rabbi, not a cantor. Say it in English. He who blessed our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, may he bless the fighters of the Israel Defense Forces who stand guard over our land and the cities of our God, from the border of Lebanon to the desert of Egypt, and from the great sea unto the approach of the Arava, on the land, in the ear, and on the sea. May the Almighty cause the enemies who rise up against us to be struck down before them. May the Holy One, blessed be He, preserve and rescue our fighters from every trouble and distress, and from every plague and illness. And may He send blessing and success in their every endeavor. May He lead our enemies under our soldiers' sway, and may He grant them salvation and crown them with victory. And may there be fulfilled for them the verse, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you to battle before your enemies for you to save you. And let us respond. Amen. Amen. I'm not finished. I want to share with you a story that I read recently. It was written by an Israeli with a very interesting profession, a mission. His name is Aryeh Eldad. You know, while American high schoolers in the last year of high school, they're worried about where they're going for college, Israeli high schoolers are thinking about entering the army and putting their life on the line for their people. And some have a hard time with it. So Aryeh Eldad, he takes them around and inspires in them and invokes in them the love of the land of Israel. He takes them to different cemeteries where soldiers were buried. And he takes them to a portion from the 1948, the War of Independence. And there's one tombstone that says Almoini, which means anonymous. And he tells them the story that here's a young man who survived the Holocaust. He was in concentration camps and DP camps, and finally he made it to the Holy Land. He was given a gun and told to defend Israel. And he was killed together with his whole group. They didn't know his name. They didn't know where he came from. So they buried him without family, without even a name. He writes a couple months later, he gets a call from some of these students, and they say, Aryeh, we found Almoni's family. We found the fallen soldier's family, and we're going tomorrow to say Kaddish with the family. And Aryeh says, it's impossible. For decades, nobody knew who he was. How is it possible? And they said, trust me, we found the family. If you want to come, we're saying Kaddish tomorrow. And tomorrow, he writes, he went to the cemetery, and there are the students, and he asks them, Nu eifo mishpacha, where's the family? And they all responded in unison, we are his family. Anachtu mishpacha shel. The last few days, we lost 1,000 family members, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, babies, grandparents. These are our brothers and sisters, and it hurts. It's extremely painful. And to add salt to the wound, there are some around the world who can't find it within them the strength to blame those who attacked us. And blame it on something called territories or occupation. Let me share something with you. In 1929, the Hebron massacre, there were no occupation. 1948, there were no settlements. They killed us simply because they hate the Jewish people. They hate the Jewish people who are in Israel, and they hate the Jewish people who are in Santa Clarita. They say it clearly. If you listen to the Hamas leaders, they say we will not stop until we conquer from sea to sea, and then we will go after America. This is not about territory. This is about the Jewish people having one land the size of New Jersey. This is about 0.2% of the human population. And the world cannot stand the fact that we have one sliver of land and they want to take it away from us. Well, we stand here today to say, you ain't going to be successful. Because we, unlike 75, 80 years ago, we have Sahal. We can defend ourselves. And we will defend ourselves with every fiber of our being. As the rabbis mentioned, never again is not a slogan. And Am Yisrael Chai is not a slogan. It's a fact. So Am Yisrael Chai, let's do it together 3 times. Am Yisrael Chai! Am Yisrael Chai! Am Yisrael Chai! Just to conclude, because you want to know what can we do. In 1967, when Israel was in grave danger, the Lubavitcher Rebbe came out and reiterated the phrase of our sages, Ma'at or doicha harbe choshech. A little bit of light can dispel much darkness. One candle in a room can remove large darkness. In the last couple of days, we've seen tremendous darkness in this world. And our obligation is to add light to the world. Ner mitzvah v'torah or. How do we add light? By doing mitzvahs. Putting on tefillin. If you haven't put on tefillin yet, there's a stand right there you can put on tefillin. There's Shabbos candles for women. Friday night, light Shabbos candles before sunset. Make the blessing. Have your brothers and sisters in Israel in mind. Do a mitzvah. Give a little bit of charity. Doesn't matter to who.
Just make it a daily observance to put a coin into charity. And like Rabbi Blazer said, make it your obligation to visit Israel. All 3 synagogues have a trip to Israel this year. There's some brochures on the table if you want more information on the JLI trip. Whatever it is, make it a point to go to Israel. And finally, our strength comes from the youth, from the next generation. They're teaching their youth hatred. We have to teach our children love and compassion with the same passion. If you have a child, enroll them in a Hebrew school. There are 3 Hebrew schools in town. Be more involved in your synagogue, not just on Yom Kippur. Get a hold of your rabbi and ask him, what can I do? How can I attend? When are classes? There are so many. You know what? We have 3 synagogues. One of them you'll never go to. That's fine. But the other 2, come on. Be more involved in your community. We need you. We need every Jew. I'm Yisrael Chai. Thank you.
One of my great friends, and a lot of people know them through Temple Beth and me, Rick and Addie, Rick has led birthright trips in the past, and he shared with us a poem in the past about Israel. He shared this poem last night for a major music festival for Israel that happened, and I wanted to ask Rick to come forward to read this poem. So today we have prayers, we have poems, and we're also going to finish with a song. But first, a poem.
Thank you, Rabbi. Normally, poets are reading in coffee houses against the noise of espresso machines, so this is really on par for what I'm used to. This poem I wrote to speak to the very old connection that we as a people have to Israel, a connection which really predates our existence, our physical existence on this earth. It's called My Heart is in the East. If you don't normally gravitate to poetry, I assure you it's not that long. My heart is in the East. My heart has always been in the East. Once on a trip to New York City, I visited the old Jewish neighborhood in the Lower East Side. When the Jews moved to New York City, they gravitated towards the East. Their hearts were in the East. On another trip to London, I took a walking tour of its old Jewish neighborhood, also in the east of that city. When the Jews came to London, they also settled in its east. Their hearts are in the East. No matter how far west we've been sent, we always situate ourselves in the East. Our hearts are in the East. When I took students to Israel to show them the place for the first time, they thought they were bringing their hearts east. My heart is in the East, in the faces of the sabras, in the weight of the desert rocks, in the sweetness of its fruit. My heart is with them in the East, these impossible beings living every day just to live. My heart in the East pays no attention to the lines which separate this neighborhood from that one. My heart in the East is an open tent, my family home I'll gladly share with anyone proclaiming peace as their anthem. My heart was in the East in the beginning when they invented the East, when God said, hey, why not check out the East? I'll make it worth your while. My heart is in the East tomorrow where time has no meaning, where the heat and the cold hold hands, where history is our memory. My heart is in the East with the kids who just wanted to go to the desert to hear some music, and their families and our families. At this moment, my heart is in the East. When I'm in Los Angeles, I am in the East. When I am in Santa Clarita, I am in the East. My heart is always in the East. Sometimes I visit it and listen to it beat to the beautiful silence of the Sabbath running through the streets.
we're going to, as I said, we're going to finish with a song. And this is a song that we oftentimes conclude our services with. It's a song that you know because it's the national anthem of Israel. But it also is called The Hope. And today we have a hope that, again, we never have to have a rally like this before. So we're going to ask everyone to join us in Hatikva. We have one last thing we're going to do after Hatikva, so don't go anywhere. Some people ask whether we're going to have flags. If you were here for the rally that we had 2 years ago, we unfurled a flag. And we're going to do that again today and ask everyone to help us. It's a giant flag that my father, Phil Blazer, bought years ago for rallies, unfortunately, like this. And we're going to unfurl the flag, and then we're going to videotape it. We're going to take some video so that some other people can see it. Who other people are going to see it? I don't know, but CBS just called, and maybe you'll see it tonight on the news. The fact that you are all here today to stand with Israel. So let's stand with Israel, and let's stand with the national anthem of Israel. Again, thank you everybody for coming out tonight, for standing with us. Again, to all the leaders who are here today, and again, for everyone in our community who's standing with Israel today. Thank you so much for being here. And again, we're going to go home in peace. We're going to ask everyone to, again, hopefully go home in peace. Don't be worried about what's happening right now, because again, the show of strength, the show of solidarity here today says so much. So thank you everyone for being here. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai.
So